Hello, assalamu alaikum. So if I am now sitting in a system design interview and I am asked how would you design a ride sharing app like Uber? So where would I start? Should I start at load balancer? Should I ask the interviewer how many users will your application have, like millions or hundred or billions? No, this is the wrong entry point. A system design interview is often focused at the low-level design at the first 10 to 20 minutes. The interviewer wants to see how you think at code level, how you think OP, how you think solid, how you really write code. In the first 10 to 20 minutes, if the interviewer is happy with your code level thinking, then he might want to see how you see software engineering at a high level, like cloud or on-prem, how many load balancers, this type of things. So remember, the entry point is always the low-level design. So when I start low-level design, I have to always start at 1. I have to think there is only one driver in the world, there is only one passenger in the world, and I have to start designing the code. After the design is stable, I will slowly scale to 1 to 10, 10 to 100, then what if there are 100 to thousands. So this is how a system design interview actually works. So say I am in a system design interview and the interviewer wants to see my low level thinking of a ride sharing app. So where should I start? First, I will start at the designing the domain entities. First of all, I will start with 2 entities only, not 10, not 20, only 2. Driver, customer, because these 2 are the basic foundations of a ride sharing app. If there is no rider, no customer, a ride sharing app doesn't exist. So first I will define the basic properties like name, email, phone number, like these are the basic properties of a driver. Then some driver specific property, maybe the vehicle registration number, driver license. Then I will similarly define the customer entities. Like to define the customer, I will focus on the basic property like customer name, address, this type of basic properties. I will not complicate too much with lots of properties because I should not kill the interviewer's time with these things. So with very minimal basic required properties, I will jump into showing the inheritance. I will take out the common properties of rider and driver into a base class, base entity, maybe we can call it person. Like the base entity will call the common properties of both, like name, address, current location, email, phone number, this type of things. So in the first 1 to 2 minutes, I will show the interviewer I know inheritance, I know how to reuse code. Then I might talk about current location, because the location consists of 2 things, latitude, longitude. In the Google map, every point is defined by 2 points like X and Y. So I might create a separate entity called location with 2 fields, latitude, longitude. Latitude defines the X coordinate, longitude defines the Y coordinate, and I might embed it into the rider's current location, passenger's current location. Now at this point, what should I design next? So I will tell the interviewer what is the very first requirement of this ride sharing app. Like I have to think in a story level, like what happens in a ride sharing app. The first thing that happens is a customer needs a trip, a customer needs a ride, so he sends a request, he sends a trip request to the app in his Uber or Pathao app. So the third entity I will design after driver and customer is a trip request entity. In the trip request entity, I will keep information about the passenger, like who the passenger is, what is his current location, where he wants to go, like the pickup and drop off location, what is the payment amount or payment method he wants to provide, like very basic properties. Again, I won't complicate too much with lots of property because time is very crucial in an interview. After the trip request is done, one thing to add, I won't keep any driver property in trip request because the trip request doesn't necessarily need a driver. A trip request is solely based on a customer. There can be no drivers available. So then I will ask the interviewer, what is the very next requirement after a trip request is defined? The very next requirement would be a trip. So I will create the fourth entity, trip. So remember, the first two entity was driver, customer. The third entity was trip request. The fourth entity would be trip. In the trip, I will keep a reference of the trip request ID, like the trip is being created for which trip request. And unlike the trip request, which contained only passengers information, the trip should contain both. The trip should contain the information of the passenger, the information of the driver, like all the details. Again, the same in informations like pickup location, drop off location, everything. Again, I won't spend too much time on the properties because time is crucial. So after the four entities are designed, driver, customer, trip request, trip, and of course we designed location, we designed common base property person for rider and customer. These are not among the core entities, these are helper entities. So the core entities are driver, driver, customer, trip request and trip. Then I will ask what's the fifth requirement in the application when a trip starts or a trip completes. The requirement of course flows into payment. Like once a trip is completed, we need another entity, that is the payment entity. So now the very first 5 entities that I must have in a ride sharing app is passenger, driver, trip request, trip and payment. So in the payment, I will put information of the payment is happening for which trip. You might keep driver and passengers information in payment, you might not keep. This is based on design decisions. Like no decision is 100% silver bullet. There are different opinions, different designs are different pros and cons. So instead of bothering into that, we will design the very basic structure of a payment entity, showing the payment method, the payment status, is it pending or processed, successful or failed. So after these 5 entities are done, you might ask your interviewer, do you want me to dive into different payment methods, or do you want to skip this design level and go into the high level design? So you have to wait for the interviewer's confirmation. Now there can be two paths. Either the interviewer wants to see your code level thinking on how you design the payment method, how do you use proper solid principles or not, do you use proper polymorphism, proper different design patterns or not while designing the different payment processing methods. Then if he allows you, you will start defining different payment methods like 3 to 4. You will start with the design pattern like factory, abstract factory. This way you go more into the low level design. Or if the interviewer don't want to waste more time on low level design, he will tell you, okay, let's move to high level design. Then the discussion will move to low level to high level, where the first question you will ask, how many users will the application use? Like if there is 100 users, the design is monolith. If there are millions of users, you definitely need load balancer, lots of things. So this is how a system design interview progresses. So I have written a very basic article on how I would approach the starting point of a low level design of ride sharing app. I will share the article link and the GitHub repo in the comment section. Hope you will like it. Thank you.